this week's edition of the Respect Yourself Network. I'm Mike Isom, and I'm here to talk to you about men things. Again, I want to reiterate that this is an opinion show. I want to share my opinion with you. I want to get some feedback from you at some point about what your opinions are about the things I'm talking about. But everything that I'm talking about, I'm reaching out and talking to men out there. I'm talking to you about being a man in your home, being a man in your church, being a man in society. We're all men doing man things. And we're going to talk about how we can do those things better, I hope. Again, I'm not an expert on any of these topics that I'm going to talk to you about. Not offering any words of expertise, just offering an opinion again. And I hope that you'll be with an open mind and an open heart as we discuss three very important factors today that I think will be interesting to all of you as they are to me. Topic number one today will be, where is your fire? Where is your fire? Topic number two, fear of failure becomes fear of trying, resulting in a fear of success. And finally, we're going to wind up today talking about the walking wounded. So today, I want to start off talking about this idea of where is your fire? I had a very good friend of mine, and we talk about a lot of things. This guy right here he likes to consider himself, what's the phrase he uses? A hardcore. Everything he says is hardcore. And and some of his thoughts and ideas, I've taken them as my own, but I always try to temper a little bit of that hardcore thing, because what's the point of being hardcore with the message if the message is so hardcore, nobody receives it? But we were talking one day, and we were talking about young men. We're talking about guys between the ages of 13 to 25. Guys that are out there, really just walking into their manhood and learning what it takes to be acceptable in society. And he was saying they don't have any fire. They don't have the same kind of fire that you and I may have had when we were their age. And I said, well, expound on that a little bit. What do you mean? He said, well, when we were 13, 14, 15 years old, there were things that we knew we had to do. There were things that we had to learn how to deal with. We had to learn how to change tires. If we wanted a car, we had to work on our own car. We had to learn we had to make money. Nobody was giving us anything. And we knew that in order for us to be able to compete, we would have to be able to master a few of these skills. But the thing that drove us was that fire to be acceptable, that fire to be attractive, that fire to be competitive. And it just seems to me that some of our men today, our young men, are lacking that fire. So my question today is, what or who drives you? You've got to have something inside of you that makes you reach for a goal, that makes you stay when you don't want to stay, that make you deal with the situation even though it's hard to overcome. What drives you? What is it that makes you get up every day and be the guy that you are? And then in that drive, once you get that drive, I want to challenge each and every one of you to seek a personal motivation. Something that motivates you other than your parents' wishes or your best friends and the peer pressure thing, or even that girl you're trying so hard to impress. You need to have your own personal motivation, that thing that makes you want to go get it no matter what. Back in the day, I can remember 13, 14 years of age, wasn't really old enough to work, but I did realize that I needed money. So one of the challenges that was before me at that time was, how can I go out there and earn my own money? Yeah, I could go to mom, I could go to granddad, I could go to somebody and say, let me have a few dollars for this, that, and the other. But then came the inevitable question, what do you need this money for? What are you going to do with it? Well, even at an early age, I understood and realized that those were questions I was not really willing to answer every time I asked for a dollar or two. So, only other alternative I had, get out there and earn my own money. Get out there and find some way to make money. But the bottom line there is, that was a motivation for me. not coming from rich parents, not living in a very affluent neighborhood. There were things that I wanted. Not so much as the designer gear that the kids are all so much into today, but I just wanted something decent to wear to school. I wanted something, an idea, a change of outfit rather, that I could change so I wouldn't have to wear the same thing every day. Basic, but nonetheless. I came from one of those households where it said, if it's clean and it's not torn up, wear it again tomorrow. But of course you wanted to be able to do a little bit more. So I developed that drive to make me get out there. And I worked some jobs, let me tell you, that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy today. But I did those jobs because that was a motivation for me to have something that I could call my own, that I didn't have to have someone ask for. I didn't have to ask someone for, I should say. But the thing about it is, what was driving me? Well, I got a really big ego. I had a big ego then. Ego is not necessarily a bad thing if it drives you into motion, if it gets you to move towards something, if it gets you to not to accept no for an answer every time. Motivation and drive. Men's priorities today are clearly different from our counterparts with our women in our lives. Remember that. No woman wants to be with a man that doesn't have any drive of his own. Yeah, he can please her, and he should be working at pleasing her and giving her the things that she desires and the things she needs. But in the same token, he needs to have something that pleases him, that's a positive thing, a drive that motivates him. I think that motivation will be a very attractive piece to add to it. If you out there walking around in life being led by circumstances, situations, without having any purpose of your own, something that you have derived from your personal experience, from your goals and your belief system, hey, that's going to make you attractive to somebody. As opposed to just sitting around waiting for things to happen in your life that's at somebody else's whim and discretion. Respect yourself, my brothers. Respect everything about yourself, including that drive that gets you up and gets you moving in the morning. We're going to talk about this some more in the weeks to come, but right now we're going to take a break. We're going to come back in just a few minutes and look into some of these other topics that we plan on discussing. Back.
This show is sponsored by the Zion Amir Carney Foundation and the BIG LLC. The BIG, empowering, educating, and promoting a better quality of life through seminars, workshops, and coaching sessions. The BIG, boldly inspiring growth. Contact us at bloomboldly.com. Also sponsored by It Works, Business from Home. It Works, helping people get healthier by providing team support, personal weekly training. It Works, vegan, non-GMO, soy-free, and dairy-free. Contact Brittany at www.banderson1014.myitworks.com. This show is sponsored by The Laundry Connoisseur, LLC, the premier laundry service serving the greater Metro Atlanta area. The Laundry Connoisseur offers free pickup and delivery. Visit us at www.laundrytlc.com. Let us lighten your load. I Am Connected Travel Agents and Faithway Travel is a proud sponsor of our show. Faithway Travel would be delighted to help you plan and finance your next getaway. Contact CEO Key Hill at keyh2747@gmail.com.
Hi, and welcome back to section 2 of this week's edition of Respect Yourself Network. This point, we're going to talk about the fear of failure, which becomes a fear of trying, which results in a fear of success. Nothing, absolutely nothing, guarantees failure except inaction. If you never do it, if you never try, then you automatically know you're going to fail. Everything that we go to do requires first a thought, then it requires a thought being put into motion, and that motion resulting in an action. Now, sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you're productive, sometimes you waste your time. But you never know until you try. So what happens a lot of times, if you will, sitting still and thinking about the outcome before you put in the plan what you're trying to get done just paralyzes you. You're frozen. I heard a preacher give a sermon one night about a squirrel being caught in the middle of the road. You ever notice that you're driving along the road and the squirrel darts out of the bushes? And if he starts at one time and just keeps going, he'd have made it. But he stops because he don't think he can make it. So then he looks back the way he came from, then he starts over, then he starts back, then he starts. And while he's standing in the middle of the road, spinning around and around, flump, end of story. The point of that story is simply this. Once you choose a direction, have confidence enough in the direction that you chose to at least give it a shot. Don't doom yourself by stopping in the middle of the road and not making a clear decision of your path. Every successful endeavor starts with a belief in its conceiver. Now, if you believe it, then you can make it happen. But first of all, do you need help convincing yourself that what you want to get done is important? Do you need help convincing yourself that you have the power within, mentally, emotionally, and intellectually, to make that thing happen? Look what just happened. While you were sitting there asking yourself this question, you probably missed 2 or 3 opportunities to get success. Belief in yourself is the same thing as having respect within yourself. If you respect your own ideas, then you can force, by your demeanor, by your atmosphere that you create, by the energy that you bring, you can force other people to believe in you as well. We were just finished reading a book in my men's ministry class, our men's studies class. Who told you you were naked? Now, we could take that into a whole different spiritual realm, but staying within the confines of what I'm talking about is this fear of failure thing. Who told you you couldn't? Who told you you shouldn't? Who told you you can't? And why does their opinion matter more than yours? Ponder that for a second. If I looked at you and told you, well, you can't do that, that's ridiculous. Why would you even try to do that? If you took that at face value and let that stop your motivation right there at that point, then you have just doomed yourself to fail, no matter what. What I'd rather see you do, my brothers, is when I say those words, if I were to ever say that to you, but because I'm the big proponent of respect myself and respect you, I never say, you can't do that. I say, are you sure? Have you looked at this from all angles? But even if I was that guy and I said to you, you can't do that, that's ridiculous, let that die. What I would expect, what I would hope from each and every one of you is that you would just say, who are you? And who are you to tell me what I can't do? Who are you to tell me what I'm not capable of? And then take that and let that be a motivation for you to go. great philosopher said one time, and I don't want to get myself in trouble by trying to quote him and name his name in what I'm saying here, but I know it's true because I heard 3 people say it. You ever heard that? 3 people tell you it's the truth. Nonetheless, a journey of 1,000,000 miles start with a single footstep. Well, I took that and I made it my own. A journey with 1,000,000 miles starts with a single confident footstep. Going back to that squirrel again. Now, he may have had a single footstep when he started across that roadway, but it wasn't confident. Because if it was confident, bam, he'd have gone across the road, end of story. Whatever he was going to do would have been done, and he'd be around to tell the story the next day. But he took a tentative step, questioning his motivation, questioning his planning, questioning his drive, and in the middle of the road, Chevrolet. What's your Chevrolet? Could it be a lack of funding? Could it be a lack of support? Could it be a lack of opportunity? All these things can be that Chevrolet rolling down the road. But if you take that confident step with the idea in mind that no matter what, no matter who, no matter how, I'm going to succeed. Now, I'm not saying you're going to always succeed. That's ridiculous. Not everything you put your hands to is going to turn into a masterpiece. Not everything you put your hands to is going to be productive and something grandiose. But it can be if you put forth the effort. If you stop and never put forth that effort, then we know what it's going to be. It's going to be another failed attempt, another dead carcass in the middle of the road. Chevrolet tracks across the back of your forehead. We don't want that for any of you. We definitely don't. So first of all, you need to understand that guaranteed failure starts in here. If you're afraid to fail, then you're going to be afraid to succeed. If you're afraid to succeed, then you know you're not going to succeed. So you just, that old catch-22 comes into play again. I can't, so I shouldn't, I won't, I want to, but I can't. I should, but I don't know how. I want to, but they keep telling me I can't do it. So what happens? You have completely crippled your endeavor on day one. And we're not talking about building a skyscraper. We're not talking about settling or curing cancer or anything of those. It can be as simple as I want to be independent. I want to be free of addiction. I want to be free of persecution. It all starts with you, and it all starts with you having that confident first step. Fear of failure becomes fear of trying, which results in a fear of success. Again, we're going to be talking a little bit more. In a few minutes, we'll be right back with some more Respect Yourself information. Join us.
This show is sponsored by the Zion Amir Carney Foundation and the BIG LLC. The Big, empowering, educating, and promoting a better quality of life through seminars, workshops, and coaching sessions. The BIG, boldly inspiring growth. Contact us at bloomboldly.com. Also sponsored by It Works, Business from Home. It Works helping people get healthier by providing team support, personal weekly training. It works vegan, non-GMO, soy-free, and dairy-free. Contact Brittany at www.banderson1014.myitworks.com. This show is sponsored by The Laundry Connoisseur, LLC, the premier laundry service serving the greater Metro Atlanta area. The Laundry Connoisseur offers free pickup and delivery. Visit us at www.laundrytlc.com. Let us lighten your load. I Am Connected Travel Agents and Faithway Travel is a proud sponsor of our show. Faithway Travel would be delighted to help you plan and finance your next getaway. Contact CEO Key Hill at keyh2747@gmail.com.
And we're back. Welcome back to the Respect Yourself Network. Again, I'm Mike Isom, and I got one more topic I want to share with you today. It's called The Walking Wounded. Let me tell you a quick little story here. I'm into this physical fitness thing, and trust me, you'll hear more about that later. And I know somebody's sitting there going, "You what?" Yes, I'm into physical fitness. And physical fitness doesn't mean I have to look like Adonis. It just means I have to feel good about who I am in my skin. That's something I just started a few years ago, rather late in life. However, I go walking every day. And last Saturday morning, I was at a walking track, and I'm walking around. And as I'm walking around, trying to concentrate on walking and not my environment, it's my meditation time, if you will. I'm walking around, but I got this nagging pain that started in one of my shoulders. And as I'm walking and I'm trying to ignore that pain, I'm trying to push through it and walk and go on, I'm thinking to myself, I got a goal in mind this morning. I'm going to finish that goal. I don't care how much this pain is or how bad it gets, I'm going to finish. But as I walked, the more I walked, it seemed like the pain was just determined to deter me. But as I started noticing after a few laps around that there was a lady that got out of her car. She was quite a ways ahead of me on the track. And she started walking away from me, and of course, I was overtaking her because I was in a pretty good clip. Had warmed up, and I was walking. And I walked up on her, and when I got closer to her, I realized that what I thought was a baseball cap on her head, because the sun was shining, was actually the lady's head. Obviously, she was going through some type of medical treatment or whatever, because it wasn't like a natural fashion statement. She had a bald head. And she had on a mask like she was trying to protect herself from the elements. I spoke to her when I went by and walked on around. And when I come back around the second time, I noticed she sat down on a bench. And she was laboring to breathe. And I looked at her and I thought to myself, I hope she's okay. And I kept walking and walked on by, and the shoulders nagging and hurting. And when I looked back, she was up and she was walking. Well, it dawned on me that she had walked as far as she could without having to stop and gather herself, replenish herself, and keep going. And my heart went out to her. I thought to myself, I said, it's hot out here. Here we are in August, and it's mid-morning, and the sun's shining. We're out here walking, and my shoulder is killing me, and I want to stop. I really want to stop walking. And then I thought about that lady. And I said, now, here she is out here walking. And obviously, her problems are much more severe than mine. Obviously, whatever condition or ailment she has more of a dire effect on her day-to-day circumstances than this pain. I'm dealing with a light affliction. But yet and still, it's my affliction. It's hurting me and I want to stop. But looking at her put me in a whole different frame of mind. So I'm still walking, and I looked around and I saw other people walking. I saw people walking real fast. I saw people jogging. I saw people go. And I said, this is a shame that we have to walk out here amongst these people is in such excellent condition. They're out here and they're doing their thing, and we're struggling just trying to make it around this track. Well, it hit me like a ton of bricks. We're the walking wounded. But guess what? There's no separate track for the walking wounded. We got to walk on the same track that everybody else has to. So, of course, it dawned on me. Walking wounded. I'm walking, I got a pain here. She's walking, she's got a different pain. But maybe that girl that's walking real fast and turns around and walks backwards, and maybe she's got some pain. Maybe she's walking for a different reason. Maybe something's going on. So, as God often does, he elevated my thinking right in the middle of my thought process. You're looking at this all wrong. Don't be looking at people in various and sundry degrees of health walking on this track this morning. Look at this track as a path of life. There's no separate track for people who get hurt along the way. Every one of us at some point are going to become one of the walking wounded. The question I want to put to you today, brothers, is this. What pain are you walking with? What malady are you trying to see yourself through? What obstacles are you facing that slow you down as you go around this path? Now get this, no matter what they are, you can't stop. Oh yeah, you can sit down for a second and gather yourself and rest, but you still got to finish the course. You got to get up and keep going. But what pain is it? Is it a physical thing? Are you fighting some type of thorn in your flesh? Or is that thorn in your flesh manifested in something in your mind that keeps you from focusing on who you are and where you want to be and all of the above? Did you get hurt at one time in your life? Did something or somebody hurt you so bad you just don't feel it? You just can't walk. These are questions I don't expect an answer to, but you know who you are and you know what afflictions you're walking with. But one thing I want to do right now is just reach out to everybody that can hear what I'm saying today. Know this. When you're making that assumption about that brother or sister or whomever it is that you come in contact with, and you start assessing them and how far they should have gotten on the trail or how fast they should be getting around it, ask yourself this question. What baggage are they carrying? What pain are they walking through? What's hurt? Always have an empathetic eye and an open mind that maybe, just maybe, this person is fighting through something that keeps them on a different pace than everybody else. But they still have the perseverance to keep moving. So while you motivate yourself to keep moving, think about that other person who may not can move as well as you are. That helps us to see life better when you start looking at it through other people's eyes. And when you start looking at yourself and wondering what they think about me. Because, oh yeah, that morning, while I was walking before the pain got to me, I was clicking them off. And I passed a few people along the way. And I'm thinking, hey, can't keep up with me. Then a few more laps went by and people were going by me like I was backing up. And I'm saying, can't keep up with them. There's always a message in the getting there. There's always a message in understanding why you're going through, when you're going through. It can help you keep going even when you don't want to. And help you feel for that person who's having the same issue. Respect yourself, my brothers. I'll see you next week.